The important details in this text are computation of earliest starting and finishing time, the computation of LS and LF times, and the computation of slack times. That earliest starting and finishing time is equal to its earliest start time plus its expected duration, while the latest starting and finishing time is equal to its latest finishing time minus its expected duration. The critical paths is denoted by activities with zero slack time. Um, the text discuss the duration of earliest starting and finishing times as well LS and LF times and slack times. The earliest starting and finishing times are calculated by adding the expected duration to the earliest start time, while the latest starting and finishing times are calculated by subtracting the expected duration from the latest finishing time. Activities with zero slack time are considered part of the critical path. Most important detail in this text are the computation of the earliest starting and finishing time, the creation of the critical activities, and the calculation of slack time. Activity slack times are based on the assumption that all activities on the same path will be started as early as possible and not exceed their expected time. Simulation is used to calculate slack time. The most important details are that paths of the project were independent and that if an activity was on more than one path and its completion time exceeded its expected time, all paths that included that activity would not be independent. Simulations is a form of repeated sampling wherein many passes are made through the project network and the expected project duration is determined by adding the time along each path and designating the time of the longest path of the project duration. The text discuss the important calculating earliest starting and finishing times, creating critical activities, and calculating slack time in project management. It's explained that activity slack times are based on the assumption that all activities on the same path will be started as early possible and not exceeded their expected time. Simulation is used to calculate slack time by repeatedly assembling the project network. Then the text also notes that the paths of the project should be independent, and if an activity is on more than one path and exceed its expected completion time, all paths that included that activity would not be independent.